been a crazy career for you. Like, you kind of worked your way up from the ground level. Just how does it feel to be a position coach?
Yeah, it's been awesome. It's been an awesome experience here. This is year 5 here now. Started as an intern, and then worked with Coach Zazinski and Coach Rice. Learned a bunch from them. Worked with Coach Howell, Coach Gregory, and Coach Lee. Just learning over the years, so it's been fun. I think if you asked me 4 years ago where I would be at, I don't know. It's great to be here now, and the opportunity with these kids has just been wonderful. We'll pour into them every day and help build them on their mission and on their way.
What'd you learn as an intern?
What I learned on an intern, there's no job too small. I think as you go along in anything you do, like whatever you're doing, like give it the fullest amount of effort and think about it like, I'm not doing this one time, I can do this 1,000 times. So whether it be putting away chairs, cleaning desks, or like doing a breakdown for one of the coaches on staff, like try and do it like, hey, I want this to be perfect. And then as you go along in your career, if you take that same mindset, instead of going back, redoing, like you start the right way a lot of times. So learn that in like the humblest way, starting as an intern.
Having been here as long as you have, do you think that the culture is different now, given the success of last year, than it was a few years ago?
I wouldn't say the success has anything to do with it. I would say more time spent on the same mission. So I think Coach Lee, I knew Coach Lee as a player, and then when I came here, Coach, like what he wanted and the vision for this place, the relatedness that the team he wanted to be a part of and lead has always been the same. I think the buy-in each year, though, has changed, and you see the success kind of as a result of that. And so from the first year here, yeah, it was totally different. I think what Coach Lee wanted and we were driving and working towards is very similar. But over time, the more players that have bought in, I think this is always true. Players can always convince and bring along players that more than any coach, parent, mentor could ever do. And so I think what we're seeing and reaping the rewards of is, hey, we've been on the same mission for a long time. We're teaching the same things, and you have more players buying in. And so the players, the new ones add on to that mission and that relatedness a lot quicker.
Do you remember how you got on as an intern? Like, do you remember the process?
Yeah, I remember the process. I was working in consulting out in Chicago. I was doing that. I was supposed to do it for 2 years. It was 1 year in. I was like, I got to get back. I want to coach. And I reached out to every coach that I had played for. And I heard back from 2. And one of them was Coach Lee. And he had called me and said, hey, like we have a spot in scouting actually. Like I told him I wanted to coach. And he's like, hey, we have a role in scouting. I asked him what it was. I really didn't know. And he said, you'll be close to football. You have a bunch of time. You're going to be helping with the evaluation of players, which is a great skill set to learn as a coach. You want to actually be coaching. And I was like, okay, great. When can I start? And he's like, can you be here Monday? And that was like 8 months after I had started looking. So I've been calling people for 8 months, asking my peers and my friends in the profession and then the coaches I'd played for. And then a call in March, he finally got back to me. We talked, and he said, yeah, can you be here Monday? And I talked to my girlfriend at the time, who's my wife now. I was like, hey, I think I'm going to quit my job and go coach football for free. And she said, well, are you sure? I said, yeah, I'm going to do it. It's going to be awesome. Like, I really, really want to do this. And dove into that experience. It was pretty amazing, and it was hard, but learned a ton along the way, and that kind of things went from there in a positive way. Yeah.
Just getting Carson Lawrence in the room, just how big of a deal is that for you guys? Did you have to convince some people to get him?
Yeah, for sure. Carson, so the last 2 years I worked with Coach Rice in the safeties and helped recruit Carson, and then coached him the last year directly in support of Coach Rice. And when we were talking about the star room and what we wanted to look like, Carson was a guy that I was like, man, he can be really good at all the things that we asked this guy to do. And I was a big proponent for him from the beginning. I'm super excited excited to see how he's grown and will continue to grow. His skill set just matches what you want that guy to do at a high level. And so just building him in consistency, building him in continuing to get better at the things that he's already good at, and then rounding out as a player. I think he'll have a great opportunity to do some great things this year.
How much does the nickel get used in your defense, and who are the guys that you're evaluating for that spot?
Yeah, the nickel, when you say the nickel, do you mean the star, or are you talking the star?
One.
Either or, yeah.
The terms seem to change a lot.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So the star or the nickel, as most people refer to it, first, second, third down. We asked them to wear just about every hat in the defense. So they're an underneath coverage player. They can be a deep half coverage player. They can be a man player. They can be a blitz player. They can show up in the box. They can show up on number 1 or even and typically on number 2. So in terms of what we ask them to do, they probably have the widest variety of things that they're asked to do. But at the same time, we aim to make it simple, package things in families and things like that so they know what they're doing. And then the guys that we have in the room right now are Jalen Ruth, Carson Lawrence, and Mason Lewis. And so a lot of times the biggest thing is you want a guy that can force on the perimeter. So if an offensive lineman pulls and wants to kick him out, he has the ability and the strength to be able to set a hard edge on the defense. But at the same time, you want to play man coverage with a guy like KB, who's a small, fast guy. So it's a little bit of a unicorn in terms of who's the perfect guy, and it's just building the skill sets as best you can to prepare them for all the looks they're going to get.
What's changed about that role from the defense you guys ran a year ago?
It's a good question. I wouldn't necessarily say it's changed a whole lot. Like Brandon Fontenette played the star. He would play other positions on other downs. So when we get to different packages, he was no longer the star or nickel. He'd be the dime, or he'd be the middle safety, or we get heavy, he'd be the other safety. And so in terms of how we've managed that this year, instead of having one guy play a bunch of different positions, the star mostly, those guys are stars. They might play another position in third down. They're not going to play in 4 or 5 positions. And that helps share the jobs and share the wealth a little bit in terms of reps on the field, but also help those guys, whoever has those different roles that maybe Brandon filled last year, help them become masters at that 1/4 or 1/5 of what we're asking them to do.
Carson mentioned like Brandon Fontenette played there, CJ Taylor played there, Kyle Hamilton played there. How much is that part of your pitch? Was it easy to tell him, like, all right, you see all these guys playing that position, you can do it too?
Yeah, for sure. Being close to the ball. I think at Carson, like, he is a guy that wants to be involved in the mix. And what's fun about stars, you're on the field perimeter. So if you think about just offensively, they want to attack space. Where do they want to go first? They want to go to the field perimeter. And then the difference between being at 12 yards and 5 yards is a lot in terms of how much of the action you're actually going to be involved in. And so Kyle Hamilton, Brandon Fontenette, CJ Taylor, you can like think of the plays that they've made. Like if you know those guys, you can think of the plays they've made, in part because of the position that they played. They're close to the ball. They're close to the space of the field that they want to attack. And he was excited. He was really excited about that. Really excited about that opportunity.